If people have supported you on your way up, yeah, you owe them. We are not sending money back home. We are done. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Linda Tina TV. If it's not your first time here, if it is your first time, hello there, I see you. Do remember to subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you're notified when I post a new video. Today we're going to be talking about black tax, a topic that has been exhausted on the internet over the past recent years. And I thought, you know what, this is an interesting topic to get into, especially now that I just came back from home and I I kind of felt those effects of black tax, and I thought, you know what, let's talk about it. So for people who don't know what black tax is, it is this thing where individuals, especially mainly black people, send money back home. Now I'm talking about individuals living in the diaspora, living abroad, but it can also be individuals who have made it in life, who are doing better than other family members, siblings. And so because there is a responsibility, a sense of responsibility ingrained in them, they give money to the ones who are not doing that well, or, you know, support the family and relatives back home in the case of the people living abroad. Many times this thing of sending money back home has had a negative connotation to it, especially where it seems like the people who are on the giving end are complaining, or they're not appreciative of where they've come from, or they don't want to give back. You know, it has very many layers to it, to be honest, and everyone's experience may actually be different. But we have lived on black tax from way back, like years ago. Actually, it's a term that came from South Africa, but that's a whole other story. So people have lived on black tax, people have been educated, families have started businesses on black tax. So when it has a negative connotation to it, it makes some people feel a certain type of way, because when one individual complains and says, I'm feeling pressed sending money back home to individuals who don't even appreciate it, we'll get to that. And the other individual is like, well, someone sent you money for you to get to where you are. I am a person who has experienced the receiving end of black tax. Half of my family, actually more than half of my family, lives abroad. My sisters, my brothers, my mom, they've lived abroad for years. They went there to obviously find greener pastures. They did find the greener pastures, and they sent us money. The money that educated us through uni was from, you know, my mom working abroad. My sisters supported us, my brothers supported us. So I have been on the receiving end of this black tax. But then, now that I am more on the, you know, the giving end, I now understand why people are not happy to send money back home anymore, and why it can be frustrating. So let's get into that. In this video, I thought I would talk about why very many people who are on the giving end of money and support to people back home are frustrated, and they give this black tax that negative connotation it has to it. First of all, it's the entitlement. And I don't mean to step on anyone's toes with this video, but I'm going to say things as I have seen them, experienced them, and even people that I've spoken to, that some of these things are just facts. People on the receiving end of this so-called black tax can be really entitled. What do I mean? Just because someone is earning more, or is the successful person in the family doesn't mean that they should die for the family, you know, because it feels like it's an obligation without even saying, like, you must do it. I always believe that people should give from their hearts, whether you have a lot, whether you're the most successful in your community, in your group of friends. People should give because they want to give. People shouldn't feel like they are forced to give, okay? Then obviously there is that moral obligation that, you know, you should feel like any normal, morally, you know, upright person, that, okay, if I have this and removing 10, it's not going to change my life, but it's going to save someone's life. It's only right that I give them, but it shouldn't be a given. It shouldn't be an obligation. And I think the entitlement, you go out there, you have kids, you start a family, and expect someone else to look after that family, is just entitlement. You go out there, this happens a lot back home, and decide to get married, and you have this budget that is X million, but you don't even have half of that. You don't even have just 10% of that budget, but you're expecting these people who live abroad, who are doing better than you in the family, to support that, to fund that. I feel like it's entitlement that, no, you shouldn't have, you know. You should be happy that someone is willing to give you a bit of what they have. So I think that's what makes many people frustrated to start with. Then there is the lack of sensitivity, you know. Someone is willing to support you, to be there for you, to send you money, to do this, to start a business. But sometimes people are not so sensitive, you know. Someone's gonna tell you, I need to pay school fees tomorrow. Or they even send a message sometimes and tell you, I need money right now because I am stuck. I don't have an Uber. I'm like, you don't know where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm with. Sometimes they're not even going to ask you how your day was. These are people sometimes you haven't heard from for a long time, you know, but they haven't been sensitive to understand that maybe you're at work, maybe you're busy, maybe you're not feeling well. There is this urgency, you know, for their need to be met without being sensitive about where you are in life, where you are on that day, in that hour. So the lack of sensitivity for someone you want to support you can rub them the wrong way. Still on the lack of sensitivity, I'll add the lack of appreciation, you know. Just because you think someone has money that is laying around or they're plucking it off trees, people lack appreciation. You're going to send someone money and I kid you not, they will not even say a thank you, or they'll just be like, oh, I got it, you know. The lack of appreciation. And I don't mean that people should lay on the floor or kneel down or lick your feet when you send them money or when you support them. Actually, for me, when I give someone, most times I don't even want anything back because I've given you, like, take it. But the lack of appreciation as human beings can make you feel a certain type of way, you know. A little thank you, a little gesture. And you know what? To appreciate someone and to show that, you know, you value what someone is to you and what they've been to you and how they've supported you. It doesn't have to be monetary, you know. It doesn't have to be. It can simply be something like, let me send you some nice things from home because I know someone who's coming over to Europe and they can bring this to you, you know, just to, I don't know, just to cheer you up and to make your day. So that lack of appreciation, also because people back home don't realize that sometimes when people are in the diaspora, when they're abroad, they make sacrifices to send money, you know. And I know this because I've experienced it. There are times when someone actually really needs money and it's more important for them to have money for school fees or, you know, for supplies, you know, some basic needs at home than for me to go out and have a dinner with friends, or than for me to pay a bill that could wait. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sacrifice and let that bill wait, or just not meet up with my friends, or, you know, instead of eating out, eat at home, or instead of, you know, buying, you know, a 10 euro steak, buy a 5 euro steak, or, you know, just do something less than what I would have wanted to do for myself so that I can help this person. And then this person doesn't even say thank you. I mean, seriously, how is that supposed to make me feel? The other one that I want to talk about is how individuals, many individuals, abuse this help that is given to them. Yo, I went back home recently this summer, and sometimes I look at the lifestyles people are living back home on money that people are sending them from abroad, people who are living in situations that they may not even share with you, or maybe they have shared with you. And I'm like, this is so unfair. You know, very many people back home live better than we live out here. We live in these small apartments because that's what we can afford. We live in these, you know, we don't drive the cars people back home drive. My husband, when we were in Uganda, was saying, oh my God, these people drive cars that I haven't seen on Italian streets for a while, you know. People here don't even drive these big cars anyway, because in Milan, we have a whole parking problem. But what I'm trying to say is, abusing someone's sacrifice to fund your lavish lifestyle is not fair. It's not fair. I want to live the way people live back home who are getting this money from people who are working hard in the snow, jumping on trains and buses to support that lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, if someone is happy to fund your lifestyle, fine. But I feel like this negative energy that comes with sending money back home is because of things like this. I am supporting your lifestyle. You're asking me for money to go and pop bottles in the back. Bottles I don't even pop when I'm out here. Do you get what I mean? And so you see, this is what this issue of black tax is creating. It's creating, it's straining the relationships between families, between relatives. I've had people say, oh, we contributed to her ticket to go to, you know, wherever it is so that she can study, so that she can work, but she forgot all about us. So it creates this negative energy within the family because someone feels really pressured and obligated to keep giving and giving and giving and giving. And you know what? Even if someone helped you to get to where you are, it doesn't mean that they're going to pay for that for the rest of their lives. You know, it's not fair, in my opinion. It's not fair. So it creates these tensions within the families, even within friends. Their friends are going to tell you, oh, before you went abroad, we used to snack at uni together, and now you can't even buy me a bottle of whatever in the club, or you can't help me pay for my wedding. And I'm like, really? And you know what happens is also that it creates guilt among, you know, guilt for the people who have made it. You know, you start to feel guilty because black tax feels like an obligation, like a must, you know, a must to give back. So you are never at peace with yourself for doing well. You know, I've heard of people who actually hide how well they are doing from families and relatives and even siblings. Like, they don't want you to know how much they're making. They don't want you to know if they got a job promotion or a rise in the salary, because then from there people are going to try and get. And let me tell you, people who take just don't stop. It's the giver that has to be like, I can't do this anymore. They just don't stop. They won't stop. And then because of that, because of the black tax, the people who have made it will never really make it, because you can't accumulate wealth when you have to help the grandmother who broke her leg, you have to help the auntie who is getting married, you have to help the cousin who's starting uni, you have to help the neighbor whose child is giving birth, you have to help. You can't save the world. And I know this may sound selfish. People who know me know I'm not a selfish person, but there is a limit. There is a limit to the black tax. And when you see people who have been through this for years and years complaining or saying it's enough, usually there's a background story. Then there are people who are just selfish. There are people who are just selfish. No matter how much they have, no matter how big they make it, they just won't give back. But this is not about these kind of people. This is about people who have genuinely supported where they can, but have reached a point where it's like choking you. Well, that being said, I am all for giving back and supporting each other, because back home, you know, in Africa, I'll speak for most parts of Africa. Yes, Africa, the continent. This is how many of us were raised, you know. Many of us were raised by family living abroad, by siblings working abroad, those who went to study and stayed there and got good jobs. So it's developmental, it's helpful when you see how much money the diaspora brings into the country. They've started businesses that are hiring people. And obviously, if I can help, why shouldn't I help? What I want to add is the people on the receiving end, please don't take advantage. Don't take advantage, don't be manipulative, and don't abuse someone's hard work, someone's privilege. Because someone may say, oh, you are lucky to go abroad where the salaries are bigger. Well, the bills are bigger too. So don't abuse someone's privilege, and don't abuse someone's support, and be appreciative. This is for the people on the receiving end. I have been on the receiving end. I remember there's a time our sisters used to send us clothes and money. We never really bought clothes because they were in the States, and they always sent us clothes. And for them, just to see how happy and appreciative we were for them sending us clothes was enough for them. They were like, we'd like to see you guys like enjoying and wearing these clothes and being happy about, you know, getting this cute stuff from abroad, from the US. But you guys, I'll tell you something. I have sent some people clothes, or bought some people clothes. Like, first of all, I'll tell you guys, when we are going back home, like I'm talking about people who live abroad, and when we're going back home for holidays, you know, to visit and all that, you don't know how stressful that is. It's stressful, yet you're supposed to be happy that you're going back home. You know why it's stressful? Because you're thinking of all the people you have to take something for, and you're hoping you don't forget anyone, and you're hoping they will like it. It's very, very, very stressing when you're going back home, and you're hoping that your luggage won't be over the limit you have. And these are things that people back home don't see. They don't see you packing and weighing and moving in the shops in the winter, in the cold, in the rain, trying to find something for the niece, for the nephew, you know. They don't see that. They don't see the bills that are coming at the end of the month, and you have to pay this and that and that and that. But there's also school fees for the cousin back home. People don't see that, you know, and it's not their place to, you know, understand your whole life story or how you're doing it, because everyone has their struggles wherever they are. But a bit of empathy and understanding goes a long way. So I was gonna tell you guys a story when I got driven off. Yeah, that's just how I am. I'll talk about this and that and get driven off. But what I was talking about is there's a time that when I had just come abroad, and every time I would go back home, I'd try to take things for my friends, for my family. And there's this people that I used to bring stuff, and one person had the guts to say, oh, you brought us H&M stuff? I don't really like the quality of H&M. Next time maybe you can get from blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't even remember, some other, you know, higher end store. I was like, does this person know what it took for me to get them all those things from H&M? And do they know that I had to do that for like 10 other people, and they side-eyed what I brought them? Like, no. So yeah, people on the receiving end, try to just be empathetic and understand. And if someone tells you they can't do it this month, guys, just accept that they can't do it. You know, people also have this thing where they'll tell you, how come you can go on holiday but you can't send me X amount of money? How come I see you going out for dinners and out, but you can't send me money to, you know, for our wedding? And in my mind, I'm like, are you seriously going to make me feel guilty for my lifestyle that I have worked for? Like, Are we really going to do that? No, let's not do that. Speaking to the people on the giving end, I will tell you what you can do, what you should do if, you know, this black tax thing makes you feel a certain type of way. First of all, you need to be honest. You need to be honest with your friends, your family, whoever, your relatives. You need to be honest. Many times, people who are living abroad, we try to put up a show of we're doing good. You know, we're doing better than we are actually doing. It never helped anyone. The more you present yourself as someone doing so great, the more they're gonna ask. So be honest about what you can and can't do. If you can't help someone, no matter how bad the situation is, tell them. Be honest so that it doesn't seem like you're just refusing. Be honest. Be like, you know what? By the end of the month, I can't even pay my power bill. So I can't help you. Sorry. You can't give what you don't have. You shouldn't have to, you know. That is one. The second is, I think you need to set limits. If I say that part of my salary, this is going to be given to people I can, you know, help here and there, that is it. After that, close the tap. Close it. That's it. Have a limit, because like I mentioned, takers don't stop. It's the giver that has to put a stop to it. So have a limit. Have a limit. Have a budget. Create a budget. I have a budget of how much I can give and how much I can give. I'm not one of those people who gives what I don't have. If I don't have, I don't have. I can help you, ask someone else, but if I don't have, I don't have. So have a limit. Have a limit and say, out of this, sorry, but I can do it. And I think also the best way of giving, I know it's easier said than done, is to empower instead of just spoon feeding. You know what I mean? If someone is asking you for these little amounts of money for a period of years and years and years, how about you ask me for money to do something that's going to empower you to be able to support yourself? Because you can't keep feeding off other people. Hard periods are there, seasons are there where, you know, they're ups and downs, but after some time you need to find a way to empower yourself. I would rather support someone to empower themselves than to keep giving them these little small amounts of money that in the end are never enough, because the bills keep coming, you know. So it would be nice if you're giving to help people be able to stand on their own than to, you know, just give this little amount of money to eat today to, you know. I think that makes more sense. All that being said and done, you know, I want to just close off this video by saying, much as black tax can be really heavy on the givers, I want us to also remember where we came from. If people have supported you on your way up, yeah, you owe them. This whole thing of I don't owe anybody anything. No, you do owe somebody something. We all owe somebody something. But this doesn't mean that you're imprisoned in this owing someone something who helped you forever, you know. But where you can give back, where you can make small changes, you do that. Where you can support, you do that. But do not allow to be taken advantage of. Do not allow to be abused. And don't give what you don't have, period. Period. So yeah, those are my thoughts on black tax, a topic that I've seen all over the internet. I've seen so many videos about people saying, we are not sending money back home. We are done. Then I've also seen articles. I was reading an article the other day of people who are saying, you're not sending money back home, but these are the people who helped you. This is family. And you know, for me, I don't feel like anyone should be manipulated to feel like they owe people who have raised them, not even your parents. I've always said that I don't want my children to feel like they owe me for raising them. That was what I was supposed to do. That is what my calling was when I decided to get pregnant and give birth to that child. My child should find it in them. I pray that they find it in them to want to support me in my old age, or when I can't, when I'm not able to support myself. I want them to want to do it, but not to feel obligated to do it. You know, I don't want it to be an obligation to them. And that is my prayer. Honestly, that is my prayer. But not just parent to child, even relatives who have helped you. Don't remind me every damn time how much you helped me. I swear you would rather not even help me. You would rather not even help me. Whether it's a husband, a friend, you've helped me. I get it. Let me find it in my heart to give back. And if someone doesn't find it in their heart to give back, I always believe that God sees our hearts and our rewards are already there. Our rewards are already there. So when you give because you want to give, because you can't give. But don't give because you expect someone to, you know, owe you for the rest of their lives. So yeah, guys, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on black tax on both sides? You know, if you've been on the receiving end and if you've been on the giving end, what are your thoughts? Hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one. Bye bye.